I feel like the American people probably learned a lot today too, because oftentimes these things, these omnibus bills, they just get passed, like you said, Tim, and people don't really understand. All they know is that the national debt is going up, that we're sending money overseas, that things are tougher here for the American people. So maybe they learned a little bit today, and maybe people can actually start to talk about these things. You're right. It shouldn't just be everyone is forced into this. We should have a robust debate about it. We should be talking about what is actually being spent here and on what. And, I think overall this is a positive thing. I feel bad a little bit for Kevin McCarthy, though. He has had a rough go. Man, it was tough for him to get elected in there. I'm sure today wasn't a great day for him. I generally think he's a nice guy, but this was probably a necessity.
You know, we were talking about leadership the other day and how there's a lot of stories throughout history of people who don't want to be the executive, like George Washington. No, I don't want to do it. I'm like, well, someone's got to do it. And he's like, I don't want to. Okay, fine, I guess I'll do it. And Cincinnatus, I think his name was, I think that was it Rome? They had an emergency, said we need someone to take executive authority. Said, I don't want to do it. And they were like, you have to. He took power. He resolved the emergency and then went right back to farming. And we respect that tremendously. Kevin McCarthy should have recognized this immediately when there was the fight over the speakership, that either he was going to have to negotiate and abide by the terms of his negotiations, or he should not do it at all. And he agreed to terms with, 21 members of Congress who were saying, we want to negotiate these specific terms. Otherwise, we won't support you. One of those terms, my understanding, was not to cut backroom deals with Democrats. If Kevin McCarthy wants to go back on his word and his word is meaningless, then I don't think he's a good guy. And he should have said immediately, guys, it will be impossible for me to do this deal with you. I'm not going to be speaker. And this never would have happened.
You know, as you're talking about all these people who are like, I don't want to be in this position, I'm not the right one. I actually feel like if you go back and look at my father-in-law, for years ago, I mean, we're talking like the 80s, the Oprah interviews, the 90s. He said for so long, I don't want to do it. But if there ever came a time where things got so bad, I felt like I had no other choice, I would run for president. And amazing to see that he did it, what he did while he was president, the way they fought against him, what is happening now, all of it. But as you were saying that's the only person that came to my mind, because to see what he's given up and the hell he's gone through, man.
What is his net worth dropped? I don't know how much, but significant. Especially with the judge attacking Mar-a-Lago, which is really weird for a New York judge to be like, it's worthless. And it's like, okay, well, I think Trump is one of the rare politicians whose net worth has declined by joining public office, where typically you see Dianne Feinstein being worth, $150 million after being in Congress, and the Pelosi's are worth $200 million. So, I'll give you my personal view is, yeah, there's a big difference between George Washington and Donald Trump.
A little bit.
Right.
Just a scotch.
But we've seen all the interviews of Trump being asked since the 80s. Yeah. And we even had that, who was it? It was Trump was on a talk show with, I can't remember who it was. It was one of those morning shows, and who was it? They were like, you got to run, Donald. It wasn't the Oprah interview. There was another one, and he was like, well, I don't know about that.
Probably Morning Joe.
It was Roseanne.
Used to be, was it
Roseanne?
Yeah.
Yes.
Roseanne was encouraging him.
Oh, well, she's still a fan.
He's been encouraged a lot, and he would always say no.